You're listening to The Downside.
The Downside.
With Gianmarco Soresi.
So nice. Well, I wanted to talk about this gig that I had. I had a corporate gig, and I'm going to try to stay vague. But this was so this is my downside. This was I don't do a lot of research. It's the most I've ever been paid for a corporate gig. I was just featuring. It was just 25 minutes. My mom took me. It was a casino. And
because you were in California.
What?
Because you were in California.
I went to California to do this gig.
Yes.
It's like 2 hours north of LA, and my mom drove me. I can't drive, so it was
same.
Yeah, no, but you grew up in the area. You deserve it. I don't.
Okay.
But so I'm going to the casino, and like right before I'm like doing my last minute research. I'm not gonna. It's 25 minutes. I can fill that anytime. But one or two jokes. Hard to understand what the company is. It's not quite a company. It's like an organization or a group. I'm like reading their bio.
Was it a cult?
Not necessarily.
Mid-level marketing scheme?
So I find the newsletter. I find their newsletter, and
You
I
sent
just
it
look
to
at
me.
the titles. And these are the titles verbatim. So it goes, are the treatments as dangerous as the virus? So immediately I go,
Pause.
immediately. And
It's
I'm
like
like,
the Mona Lisa face, just...
and I'm in heavy denial. I'm
And,
like,
you know how much they're paying you.
Well, this
and
is
you're
the thing.
like,
yeah.
When it's the certain amount of money, you purposely don't do the research because you don't want to
you
have
don't
an
want
excuse.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like a con. You know they're conning you, but you don't want to believe it.
Yeah, and I've
Yeah.
performed at Connect. I've performed for plenty of politically different groups.
Yeah.
But so okay, so that was the first one. Then Sacramento's homeless street vagrants live under separate set of laws, and I'm like, vagrants. I don't like
That
calling
word.
homeless people vagrants. No. Reading about your travel destination has been taken over by wokeness. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Then to round it out, worry about the intellectual climate, not climate change. And I'm like, fuck, what the fuck am I going into? I'm nervous. I feel guilty. I was with my mom, and I was like, Mom, am I a bad person? Should I? And I'm not, I know in my head, I'm not going to leave. I'm not
You're
going to
like, do these
leave.
Right,
people deserve
no.
to laugh?
Yes.
Well, and there were weird things happening there
So
too, right?
I get
they
there.
were,
100, I mean, about 800, maybe 600, about 400 cowboy hats, not one horse.
Oh, no.
And my mom and I are the only Jews in this room, for sure.
Oh, no.
And so they come up to me, and I think the thing is when you're performing for people who disagree with you, they're so sweet to you. They go, thank you for being here. We loved your video online. Thank you. And I'm
what
like,
video did they see?
who knows?
Okay.
Whatever
Maybe it
my
was
agency
something you were
has on
being
the,
ironic and they thought it was serious.
maybe, but they should have known.
Sounds
Yeah.
like you both didn't do your research.
There you go. I think we're both.
Yeah.
And so they're so nice to me. They're so sweet, and I'm like feeling like I'm like. So then I start looking at the first. There's a country person playing music on stage,
Sure.
and he tells me the rundown, and he's like, like any good comedy show, there's going to be a national anthem, and then there's going to be an auction, and I
I
looked.
thought you were going to say a prayer.
It was even worse. This felt more like this. So I would have preferred a prayer.
Yeah.
For yourself, please help me get through
Yes.
this without them finding out I'm
my-
Jewish.
and I look at the auction list. I'd say about half the auction was for guns. Glock 19, shotguns, and if it wasn't for guns, it was for like training with a former SWAT team leader. You and a group of 8 friends can learn how to barge in on someone you think might have drugs. That's not what it. But I'm saying
Yeah.
it was auctioning off guns. They had the person there, a police officer there, who would give you your background check at the event, so you could like.
It's like a COVID test, but for guns.
Oh
Yes.
my God.
Yes.
A rapid test for guns.
Yes. And the Glock 19 went for $20,000.
What?
Wow. I mean, I'm from New York City, so I'm very bad with like the rest of the country and understanding. I'm a stupid city hick, but this is on the coast.
Yeah, this is California.
Yeah, but California's
But
big,
it's
man.
outside of
big.
LA.
It's 2
Yes.
hours out, but it's so funny. It's on the coast. Even if you did your research, it doesn't sound like you would have known.
But
No.
I was
You weren't- yeah.
I was shooting a General Electric commercial once in California when I remember it was outside of California. I was with a bunch of blue collar workers, and Chris Christie had just endorsed Donald Trump. This is so 2016 or whatever, 2015. And I said to the room, I was like, "Ugh, do you see this? Chris Christie just endorsed Trump." And this older guy was like, "What's wrong with that?" And I was like, "Right." I have grown up in Washington, D.C. I've been in theater. I went to New York. Miami. I've lived in liberal areas.
Yeah.
I'm not used to being in a room full of people who politically disagree with me on everything.
It's crazy, too. Like, you look at your Instagram feed. Like, I grew up in New York.
Yeah.
I went to Madison, Wisconsin, which, again, very liberal, but outside would have been different. I'm from Park Slope. That's like, they created, like, granola.
Yeah.
So you're seeing this perspective, and you have to hear from other people about, like, different perspectives, too. So you almost feel closed off in your perspective from what you're looking at online, depending on your friendship.
Yeah. And I just don't know how, like, I didn't have moral. I was thinking the whole time, I was like, what would have to happen for me to not do this gig right now? Like would they have to start auctioning off Klan robes? Would that be my line?
Yeah.
I'm like, what would be my line?
Yeah, because you'd keep finding ways to be like, well, I'm not going to be part of it when I go up there, and maybe I can stick it to them in a way.
I'll be off the
like,
stage
I'll make
at that
jokes
point.
and, like, you know,
Yeah. So then I look at the playbill, and it says the comedy
The
portion.
playbill.
The playbill. The comedy portion listing my name and the other comedian is brought to you by Exxonmobil. So Exxonmobil specifically has donated whatever amount of money
For
that was going directly to me. And I'm like, oh my God.
You're like a politician.
Gianmarco,
You're like a dirty
you are
politician.
So bad.
Yeah.
And that's when I had like posted on Instagram about the event, and then immediately I was like, no, I can't let people know I'm performing.
Well, it wasn't required for you to promote it, was it?
No, but I thought it was like funny. Like I thought the national anthem thing was kind of funny, and then I was like, oh, someone's gonna look up this company and go like, they.
But this is the thing. There's a lot of comics out here, I feel like, who hate their fans.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to be in that mentality where, like, or you're one of these comics that they know there's a low common denominator that they're hitting on.
Yeah.
And embrace it.
Yeah.
And you can't help who thinks you're funny.
Yeah.
It's not your fault that you're so funny in a wide range.
I know. And also it's clean. So squeaky clean.
Mm-hmm.
But there's part of me that's like, I need to take the piss out of them just once.
Yes.
For my comic sensibility.
Yes.
And I'm nervous, and I'm like, I want my agents to be happy, but then there's like, but I want to be brave. And so the joke that immediately comes to mind, I have this joke, which I stopped doing because it's on the Amazon thing. It's about Titanic 2. There's a guy who's recreating the Titanic, and the joke is it's going to go along the exact same route as the original because global warming made it safer. And it's just a small joke, but then I have the bit. I put it on my little machine. This is what I did. Titanic 2. Did you guys hear about this? I'm not making this up. There's this Australian billionaire. He's recreated the Titanic. It's going to go along the exact same route as the original because the iceberg's got a lot smaller, thanks to my sponsor, Exxonmobil. And take a joke. So it was
What a journey that laughter was.
I know.
Because they did laugh.
Storyline.
They did laugh.
So they
initially.
laughed, and then they realized,
and then they were like,
fuck.
no.
They laughed, and then the sound started, and you're like,
what was that sound?
This is not laughter. What is this? And then like because I think like these white people, because it was all white.
Yeah.
They have not been to the Apollo before, so they haven't. I don't think they've booed ever. So it's like a
didn't
baby
even know how
discovering
to
the
boo.
word. They're like,
But the best is the initial reaction.
Yeah.
That's the authentic reaction, not when they're like, oh, shoot, my boss is behind me.
Yeah.
But
Shocked laughter.
I love that you did that because there's also a part of you when you have that many people that disagree with your views that you're like, maybe if I say the right thing, I could turn them. You're like, maybe if I just put it in a perspective they've never heard, I could get all these people to see my perspective.
Yeah. And then one ExxonMobil person came up to me and my mother, and they thought my mom was my girlfriend, which flattered her very much. And said that they, whether they're full of shit or not, they said like, we do believe we're trying these new programs, and it's the higher ups. They kind of blame the higher ups, and they were like, we're environmentally whatever. And then my mom, who used to be a lawyer, was like, oh, it's fine. I used to defend ExxonMobil. And I was like, Mom! God damn it, what the fuck?
Oh, man.
We're a conservative family.
Oh, my God. Well, that's the problem.
Downside.